Welcome to a new reading vlog. This is going to be a very low-key, casual reading vlog for the spooky season because we're coming up on the final week of October and I've got a few fun plans that I want to do over the next week, including a little Halloween party that I'm throwing to show off my newly redecorated apartment. There are no specific reading plans for this one. I'm just gonna go wherever the mood takes me. But I do have a lot of books to tell you guys about because I've gotten a lot of book mail in the past few days and I've also read a few books since the last vlog. So settle in because I've got a lot to tell you about. So first up, I have read these three books in the past few days. I picked up this comic book Ma, and it was deeply disturbing and the art was deeply disturbingly beautiful. Trigger warnings all around for this one because it's about a young woman who has been sexually assaulted and the men that did it basically got like 3 months in jail and like that's it. They got like a slap on the wrist, and so she's really struggling with that. And her sister takes her to sort of like a modern day hippie commune that she heard about from her yoga instructor. And unfortunately, when she gets there, another similar assault happens to her, and she's battling with her inner demons, battling with the justice system, battling with how unfair it can be to be a woman, and all of that anger and upset inside of her comes out in the form of a very terrifying creature. So it's a standalone and it was really well written, and I really liked all this sort of diversity and rep that is in this comic, and ultimately I really loved the message as well. Then I read Fever Dream, which is a translated little horror novel, very short, it's very tiny. Like, look at it compared to a and this is a very strange book that I enjoyed immensely, and this is about a woman who is dying in a hospital bed, and a young boy is whispering in her ear and telling her all sorts of things as she tries to recount the past few days and how she ended up in this hospital bed. That's all I'm gonna say. It's very strange, very weird, a little bit speculative, but I really, really, really loved it. And then lastly, I read Such a Fun Age, which is not horror. It's a contemporary story that tackles things like white privilege, the class system, privilege, and white guilt. It was really, really, really fascinating. I read this in under 24 hours. I fell so deeply in love with our main character, and the little girl who she babysits is so sweet. So this is another book that I highly recommend. I think I'm pretty late to the game on this one. I think this was like a celebrity book club pick, so I'm sure everyone's read it already, but if it's still sitting on your TBR, pick it up. It is a fast, fascinating, really important read for sure. And now, book mail time. First, let me just say I am so grateful for publishers sending me books, because now that I am on a sole income, I basically only have like a small little amount of money that I've budgeted each month to buy books for myself. And the fact that publishers send me all of these new releases, it just genuinely means the world to me. So first up, I think I've already shown this in another vlog, but I got the ARC for this like 2 weeks ago, and then they sent me a finished hardcover copy, which I did not ask for, but that's really cool. I don't need 2 copies, so I'm probably gonna send the hardcover to a friend. And this is already out on shelves, but I definitely want to get to it really soon. And then I was sent a copy of Catriona Ward's book Little Eve, and I believe this is a reissue. Like, I think it came out originally back in the day, but it only had like a UK release or something like that. Yes, okay, so originally published in the UK in 2018. So now they've done sort of like a worldwide release of it, which is really cool. I read her book, The Last House on Needless Street, and it absolutely blew my mind. It's one of my favorite books I've ever read. So I'm definitely very interested in this one. And my favorite publisher, although I shouldn't say favorite, I love all the publishers. But one of my favorites is Tor Nightfire. They are doing incredible things for the horror community and have really brought horror fiction to the forefront of people's TBRs. And I'm seeing so many people who don't usually read horror picking up Tor Nightfire books because Tor is just, it's got that reach and it's just so cool to see. They've sent me 2 upcoming releases. This one, I believe, doesn't come out until the new year. So this is January 2023. I don't know the actual date, I apologize, but it's called Tell Me I'm Worthless. And this was on my TBR for next year, so I'm thrilled to have this very early. And this one's even later. This is February 2023. So being spoiled here. I've never received ARCs this early before, and I just think it's really cool. And this is The Spite House, which I'm really looking forward to as well. Again, these were both already on my radar. And then I got a little box from Tor Nightfire and I was like, oh, guess I don't have to purchase them. And I'm so excited about that. And I definitely am going to try and read these sooner than later because I kind of don't want to wait. I participated in a fun little, we're calling it Secret Satan. It was a group of amazing women on Instagram. And we set up a Secret Santa program where we each sent each other a book throughout the month of Halloween. So I sent Book Eaters to someone that was on their wish list. And the book that was picked for me from my wish list was Hare House. Now, this has only had a UK release so far, so I'm thrilled to have my hands on it because I can't easily purchase it here in Canada. And this is just very much a run-of-the-mill gothic English horror novel. And I just love those novels so much, so I'm really excited to read this one at some point.
He always says, there once was a dream world in which familiar friends, from the most heroic to the most villainous, lived together in harmony. However, as time passed, the forgetting set in, and the world fell into darkness.
It is very cold today, very cold and gloomy for the first time in a long time. So it finally feels like fall, and I'm going to attempt to make a stew. And I'm terrible at cooking, and I've tried to make a stew before and it did not work. So hopefully I can figure it out this time. But that's what I'm going to spend my Saturday afternoon doing, is attempting to make a stew. It's finally cold enough for my giant sweaters and leggings as pants. I'm in my most powerful season. I am at my most powerful with my giant sweaters. You can't tell what my body looks like under here. You can't tell. And that's my favorite season. Haha! So excited to wear giant sweaters and be so cozy and warm. Okay, so I finished reading Curse of the Spectre Queen, which I have not told you guys about, but I've been reading it for the past few days, and I just finished it, and it was incredible. It's exactly my vibe. It's one of those sort of like YA fantasy, but like light fantasy adventure books. This book is exactly that vibe. We have a group of 3 friends, and one of them works in a bookstore where she repairs old books, and she receives a mysterious journal in the mail. Her and her friends basically put together that it has to do with the Hellfire Club. And as they're putting the clues together, someone steals the journal from them, and they have to do all this sort of like deciphering and code work, and they have to rush onto a train and then onto a ship and then off to Dublin. They have to stop the Hellfire Club from bringing forth the Spectre Queen. It was just such a good adventure story, and I love it so much. And the second book in the series came out this summer, so I'm definitely going to pick that up at some point. This could be a standalone, though, to be fair. If you don't want to read a whole series, this is a great standalone, but I just love the characters so much and the writing, so I would love to see what the second adventure is. And now I'm going to bake some pumpkin chocolate chip cookies, and with that recipe you have to chill the dough for a long time, like a couple of hours, because the dough is so wet from all the pumpkin. So I'm gonna do it right now in the early morning. I'm gonna make the dough, and then we're gonna put it in the fridge and let it chill, and then I'll make the cookies this evening. So let's go bake some pumpkin-y cookies. Our dough has been chilling for a few hours, quite a few hours. So now I'm gonna bake them, and hopefully they turn out yummy. It is Monday, the start of the last full week of October, and I want to do some spooky reading this week, and my dumbass forgot that libraries have access to comic books and graphic novels. When I remembered that that's a thing, I put like a bajillion horror comics on hold, and they pretty much all came in today, and I had to lug a giant bag home. But yeah, I'm excited. Are you ready? just a few comics. This evening I would like to read these 2 because these are recommended by my friend Bud, and he absolutely loves both of these, which is the reason that I picked them out in the first place. So I'm gonna read these this evening, and I'll let you guys know how they are. Okay, I have finished Something is Killing the Children. Immediately put volume 2 and 3 on hold at the library. This was so good. Oh my God. So basically, in this world, monsters are real, but only kids can see them, much like Monsters, Inc. But if Monsters, Inc. was killing the children. And there is a young woman, Erica Slaughter, who I'm obsessed with. And I wish I had read this sooner because I would totally have gone as her for Halloween because she's so freaking cool. She goes around and kills these monsters, and we don't know too much about her yet. She's very mysterious, and she has like a stuffed octopus, like a little octopus toy that she talks to, and the octopus talks back to her, and like we see a brief, I think I showed it in the clip, there's like a weird spirit that I guess is in the octopus, but we don't really know too much about that yet in volume 1. And even though she's an adult, she can still see these monsters, and she basically goes town to town killing these monsters. And this is set in one town where they already have 14 missing kids, and it's pretty much that this monster has killed all of them. And we start out with one young boy who unfortunately watched all his friends be murdered by this creature, and he was the only survivor. I really liked him. He was a really sweet little weirdo, and like everyone in town thinks he killed his friends, which is so sad. But Erica, of course, arrives, and she believes him because she knows what he's talking about, and those two form a very sweet bond. And that's all I'm gonna say because I don't want to spoil anything. But my hopes for volume 2 is that we learn more about the spirit inside of the octopus, why Erica can see monsters as an adult, which company she works for. And also I hope that her and the little boy's relationship develops because it's very cute. Very cute. So up next is Basket Full of Heads, which is just the best title ever. So I'm gonna go, oh my God. I'm gonna go read this now. Guess what I picked up today? It's pumpkin time. I'm going to carve my pumpkin this evening, and I think that I'm going to attempt Grogu because he's my fave, and it may go terribly wrong, but and I only got one pumpkin, so hopefully I can pull it off. But first I'm going to shower because it has been so cold and pouring with rain all day. I feel like I have not been warm or dry since I woke up this morning. So I'm gonna have a shower and then we're gonna carve the pumpkin. And I also wanted to update you, I've been reading Infidel today. I've got maybe 5 pages left, and it is really, 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 really good. I can't believe 3 comics in a row are like 5 out of 5. It's just like making me so happy. But this is about a young woman who moves into a building where a sort of mass murder had taken place, and the building is very haunted, and her family unfortunately become prey to the ghosts of the building. And it is it doesn't sound like it's a unique concept, but trust me, it is unique when you read it. I mean, yeah, I have 5 pages left, so unless it goes terribly downhill, which I doubt, I recommend this as well. friend wanted to make over my bathroom, which you can see here is very boring and very outdated, very 70s. And yeah, my friend Nicole kindly offered to completely redecorate it, and it's absolutely incredible what she's managed to pull off. So here's the final look of the before, and here we have the after. She did it completely psycho themed. Look at the details. This is just the door. Property of the Bates Motel. Oh my god! It's so freaking amazing. The amount of detail I'm not going to recover from. So here's the towels. Property of Bates Motel. And of course, the iconic shower silhouette. And then the moment itself framed on the wall. So cool. A little haunted Bates Motel on the top of the toilet there. The car, the license plate. I mean, holy crap. This is my favorite thing ever. It is a miniature model of the Bates Motel. The door is open. It's so intricate. Can you even believe it? There's even a little Norma Bates in one of the windows. And of course, there she is in all her glory. And here is some more details. And of course, some more Bates Motel towels. Incredible! Got some little blood on the mirror. Oh, and what's that? Just Norma Bates' wig. She also did the floor and the walls. She wallpapered, and it's incredible.
You've heard of Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan, but now get ready for the sequel. Jason Takes Coachella! What's up, bitches? We're going to Coachella!
I've got my mask, I've got my bunny purse, and I've got my chainsaw, and I'm just ready to go party at Coachella, you guys. And obviously I have my Uggs, because you gotta be super comfy when you're gonna be on your feet all day dancing to Harry Styles. Alright, I wanted to jump in and wrap up this big Halloween vlog, but quickly I wanted to tell you about two more comic books that I read this weekend. The first is The Autumnal, and this is about a single mom who her mother passes away and leaves her house to her daughter, and she has to return to a town that she is not thrilled with, and when she gets there it's very spooky and the whole town seems to be a little off. But it was the perfect fall read, as you can probably tell from the cover. And this is a standalone, and it was really creepy. I really liked it. And then lastly is The Dire Days of Willowweep Manor, and this was absolutely hilarious. I laughed out loud so many times. It's about a high school student who is totally obsessed with gothic romance books, and one day she's going home from school and she sees a guy drowning and she jumps in and saves him, but then wakes up in like another dimension that is basically the gothic romance of her dreams, which doesn't sound funny, but it is. It's very funny. And if you like gothic romance, you'll definitely definitely love how much this sort of teases gothic romance in a great way. Tony, what are you doing? Just scratching his butt. Excuse me. Excuse me. Hi. Okay. This was great too. These are both solid 5 out of 5s. So that's it. Thank you so much for spending the last week of October and Halloween with me. And I love you guys very much. And I will see you in the next one.